Hi! Just wanted to do a quick little video for you of what we include in our daily forest school bag. So arguably the most important thing to have would be an extra base layer. Now since the temperature is pretty mild right now, we are doing just about anything for a base layer. It doesn't really matter. So we're just doing a comfortable pair of jeans, a long sleeve t-shirt, and an extra pair of socks. When it gets cooler, that could look like a smart wool base layer, and wool socks would be ideal. But for right now, just anything that the kids would feel comfortable in, definitely long sleeve though. What would be perfect would be to put that base layer inside a quart or gallon Ziploc bag. That way we can make sure in case the backpack gets wet somehow, or in case a thermos spills inside of the backpack, their base layer is still dry. Just an extra layer of protection there. Speaking of layers, the next layer would be something to keep the core warm. So this is going to be a hoodie, a sweater, a sweatshirt, a light fleece jacket, and that will help just keep the body temperature insulated. So we're just going to do a hoodie right now since, again, temperatures are pretty mild. On days when the weather is predicted not to rain, we still would like the kids to come dressed in rain pants. You can find usually a shell. This is just a shell that goes over their clothes. This is an Okiwear shell, and I like Okiwear because they have the Velcro at the bottom. That ensures that you can get a really nice tight seal around the rain boots. So that is what we like the kids to come dressed in. Now if they would like an extra layer on top of their sweatshirt, maybe it's a little bit cooler, or maybe it's a little windy or just barely sprinkling or something, a light raincoat that has a hood preferably, and that's just good for a little bit of water resistance and wind resistance, to kind of keep those elements out. Now we also would like for the kids to have a wet bag. In case we need to get down to that extra base layer, we need something to put the wet clothes in. So some kind of wet bag. It doesn't have to be a specially made wet bag. Again, just a gallon Ziploc bag will do just fine. So now if the temperature drops down a little bit more, let's say low 50s or in the 40s, then we recommend that the kids have hats and gloves. Especially anytime that it's raining, really, the kids should have gloves. So these are some Gordini gloves, and we like these because they have a Velcro strap on the top that comes completely apart, and on the inside there is a zipper that goes all the way up to the thumb, and that makes it just so much easier to get the gloves on and off wet hands or damp hands. It also keeps them on their hands, which is nice. So some kind of waterproof mitten. We recommend mittens. Did I say gloves earlier? We recommend mittens because they actually help keep the hands warmer, having all of the fingers closed in together. Alternatively, if your kid just really does not like mittens, what you can do is get a pair of wool gloves or some kind of glove that is just comfortable for them and warm, and on top of that they have mitten style. It's basically like a rain liner, kind of it goes over top of the glove and then cinches at the wrist, and I can put some links in on places that you can find those. If your child's hands just tend to run cold, you can just get a regular pair of non-waterproof mittens to keep in their bag for times when maybe they just need that little bit of extra protection. They can keep it in their jacket pocket. But I definitely recommend the waterproof ones for most days because there is a lot of mud and ways to get cold, wet hands at camp. We also would like them to have a hat once it starts dipping down below 50. Ideally, again, something wool would be great, or this is polyester. It's nice and thick. And that also provides them a little bit of protection from the rain and without having to wear their hood on their coat, which is great because even in my own personal experience, having the hood on of your raincoat really limits your visibility and kind of makes you uncomfortable trying to be active. So having a hat separate from your raincoat is great. Once the weather starts to get a little bit cooler and heading towards cold, we found this on Amazon and used it last year, and it was just such a great thing to have. It is a neck gaiter and a hat and a face warmer and everything all in one. It can be used a few different ways. It can be converted, and there are cinches, so you can cinch it down. It fits for multiple years. I think probably like 2 years to 6 or 7 years old. So it's a great thing to have. I'll also put a link in the comments for that. Now, on days when it's already raining when you bring the kids to school, we'd love for them to come dressed in a full rain suit. This one again is Oki wear. Yes, we do love Oki wear. Because the waterproof quality is really great. It has the Velcro at the bottom, again, to get a good tight cinch around the feet and the hands, or around the wrists. So that's just a great option. There are so many places you can find them secondhand, especially in the Pacific Northwest. So, and then, last but not least, for sure, is their lunchbox and a water bottle. We're going to start asking that the lunchbox and the thermos be kept separate and out of their backpack. The teachers will carry that into camp for them. The weight of all of this together just gets to be a little bit too much for a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old. So we would rather their backpack be filled with just their clothes and keep the lunchbox and the thermos separate. So, to reiterate, the lunchbox and the thermos will be separate. Then what goes actually in the bag will be as follows. We're going to have a base layer, a second layer for warmth, some kind of sweater, sweatshirt, fleece hoodie. We're going to have, on days when rain is not predicted but it's cooler, you can have some kind of a shell, light shell, or warmer jacket if you'd rather. We're going to have our waterproof mittens, a wet bag in case any clothes get wet, and then on colder days we want to have either a hat or a combination neck gaiter and hat. Something like that would be fantastic. We'll say for right now, since it's just cool, we'll just have a hat. And then that's it for what goes in the backpack. Those are your layers. So as you can see, it actually, once we stuff it down, it's actually not really that full. Probably about half full, and it's not very heavy because it's just clothes. And then the other things that you'll want to have on hand are a shell, rain pants shell for days when rain is not in the weather forecast, a rain suit for when it is actively raining, rain boots for every day, no matter what, and that's it. That's everything that we should have. It feels like a lot in the beginning, but then once you get it all packed together, it's actually not that much. And again, as the weather gets cooler, we'll start to transition into just a little bit warmer layers. So a wool base layer instead of jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt. That fleece layer might get a little bit thicker. And then on top, you might have a little bit of a thicker coat, depending on how warm your child runs. I know that for me, I run very, very warm, and so does my child. So she doesn't need quite as heavy of a layer, especially when we're going to be running around and playing and things like that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to message us, preferably not here, preferably on Facebook or via email, and we will get those questions answered for you. Thank you so much.